Warning, the Renegade Recruiter is not for the soft, timid, or faint-hearted. If you need permission or seek approval from your mother, spouse, mates in the pub, or anyone else for that matter, this really isn't for you. If any of what you've heard puts you off in the slightest, I advise you not to listen any further. You've been warned. Prepare yourself for the no bullshit, zero fluff. Quick, dirty, and uncensored secrets for any serious recruitment, staffing, and search business owner who wants to earn more money with less work and fewer headaches, without having to kiss ass or bend over backwards to please anyone. He's a relentless and fearless renegade who will stop at nothing to reveal the harsh, unforgiving, and brutal truth about what it really takes to succeed in this business. He's a guy people love to hate and hate to love. It's your host, Terry Edwards. The Renegade Recruiter is unleashed.
Hello. It's Terry Edwards, Renegade Recruiter, and welcome to another episode of Renegade Recruiter Unleashed. And today our guest is Connor Benham. Now, I know a lot of people have never heard of Connor Benham, but trust me, he's somebody that you want to be listening to. Connor Benham is very much previously worked behind the scenes with some of the leading marketeers, both in the UK and abroad, in helping them with their Facebook marketing. Connor's considered the expert, one of the leading experts in the UK when it comes to Facebook advertising. I've probably had the pleasure of knowing Connor for about 9 months to a year now, and he really does know his stuff. So without further ado, I want to say, Connor, thank you so much for joining us and welcome to our podcast.
So, Connor, again, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Just for anyone that doesn't know you or doesn't know of you, can you give us sort of the brief introduction to who you are and what you do now?
My name is Connor Benham, and I've been running Facebook campaigns since I was 16 years old. And I've just grown, and as Terry said, it's finally time to come out. Come out of the woodworks and show myself to the world.
Good stuff, awesome. So again, give us a bit of your background. I mean, you said you've been running ads. I know obviously we spoke briefly before the call. You've been doing it for some pretty big names, but where did it all begin? When you said you started at 16, what was the first sort of campaign you was involved in? How did you get involved, and how did it go?
It was a PPI campaign of all things. My dad had a PPI business, as you two obviously both know, and he was asking me one day, I was sat in his office, like, what do you want to be when you're older? I was like, I've got no idea. He was like, well, have a look at Facebook. You're young, it's up and coming, it's growing. So I sat there with him and I looked at it, and I was fascinated by all the numbers, how you could break it down into sort of the genders, where they've viewed it from, the age of the people viewing your adverts. I was like, bloody hell, that's interesting, which is quite weird for a 16-year-old.
Yeah.
And he went, why don't you try and run a campaign? I was like, oh yeah, go on then. So he sat with me, sort of showed me the ropes, showed me the Facebook pixel, how to sort of install it on a website, and went from there. And he really sort of nurtured me through that. I was doing a ton of reading online, sort of taking in all the free resources I could as a skint 16-year-old. And I then got a job at a pub, and they was talking about Facebook advertising one day. And I went, well, I've run Facebook ads before. Do you want me to have a go? And they went, yeah. So sort of set it all up, got it ready to go. And we took the weekend turnover from, I think it was $4,000 to $12,000 a weekend in just a month of running adverts.
Wow. Brilliant.
Which was a great success, just sort of running paid adverts for food, for events. So that was fantastic, and that really gave me the confidence to really go for it some more. So Dad got me into touch with a few people that were interested, sort of just needed a cheapy 17-year-old at this time person to run adverts. So I was running it for life insurance, and rather than doing what their current adverts were doing, I did the exact opposite. They was all focusing on the positives. I then run one on the negatives, and I reduced their cost per clicks from £1.50 to 4p a click, which was, and again, a huge success. they eventually pulled the plug on that one because they wanted to put more money in an AdWords campaign. And then one day, Chris Cardell was looking for Facebook advert managers. So I sent him over sort of all my success stories. And about a month later, I completely forgot that I sent it to him. My phone went ring, ring, ring. It was an automated message saying like, Chris Cardell's calling you. I thought it's got to be a wind up, isn't it? 19 at this time. And he offered me a position to run adverts for him and for a few of his clients, which was amazing. And here we are today. I've picked up a few of the elite group as clients, as we know. Sort of John himself is now a client. And here we are today, ready to come out to the world.
Excellent. A couple of things there, just for those that don't know, Chris Cardell's the UK's leading and world-renowned internet marketing guru in the UK. I think most people would agree with that. And John McCulloch is probably close up there. So you ended up working for two of the leading marketeers in the UK. That's pretty awesome. Just come on and ask you something. We go back, a year or so, and I know that you initially worked from your dad. And I'm just interested, kind of from your opinion. I read somewhere that young entrepreneurs like yourself who had the good fortune for working with your dad tended to stand you in good stead and psychologically be well grounded. Is that something you'd agree with, Colin?
Why are you asking?
Well, just wondered,
Yeah, of course it helps working in sort of a business environment. You get to see sort of how cutthroat it is, and of course it keeps you grounded. Wouldn't you agree, Drew?
Well, I mean, to be fair, we probably had a different experience because your dad's quite intelligent, so it's probably different to what I had experienced. So yeah, I can imagine for you it was brilliant.
I was going to say, but not now. His head will go through the roof.
Hey, listen, I know your dad, and you say a lot of things about him, but not intelligent. But anyway, let's move.
Well, no, let's get into this topic a bit further because, again, all joking aside, it is something that people ask us a lot. So, from your point of view, Connor, like how did you find it, sort of growing up with an entrepreneurial dad?
It taught me to sort of develop a thick skin from a very early age, which is one of the best things that I think I've ever done, because at 16 I was going for things like head boy, silly things. Well, not silly things, it was a big thing to me at the time.
Yeah.
But I was worried. I was worried what people would think about my speech, what the teachers would think about my speech, if I was going to get votes, if I was going to get laughed at, if I was going to stutter, anything along them lines. And spoke to Dad about it in quite some length, and he sort of got me into that mindset of you control how you feel. As soon as you let someone make you feel unhappy or sad or embarrassed, that's because you're letting them. And it really helped me develop that hard skin that you need to have in this marketing game, because it is cutthroat at times. It's not an easy gig.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah. It's interesting to say that. A lot of people of our clients that we talk to, Connor, they're kind of, what's the word? They're reluctant to raise their head above the parapet, in terms of marketing, for fear of what their clients or their competitors are going to say about it. And what Drew and I find is that's what stops a lot of business owners from achieving what they want to achieve. That fear of what people are going to say. Because you're absolutely right. You do have to be, I call it more thick-skinned, and other the people's opinion of you are none of your business, quite frankly. And also I'd also add to that you can never be all things to all people, because you're gonna piss somebody off somewhere. I always share this story. One of the first webinars that we did, and neither Drew or I wore a tie, and we had people complaining on the webinar that we weren't a tie. Just like, are you frigging kidding me? But you see what I mean? You're always to get somebody who's gonna, not gonna like something you do, and it's kind of, do you know what? You just need to grow some, don't you? And just kind of.
I think people's biggest fear is actually their friends, to be honest.
Yeah.
They're worried that what their friends will think, that they're making all these sort of claims, and they say they can do this for that person and the other person, and it's a completely irrational way of thinking. Like, oh my God, what will my mum think of this? What will my brother Barry think of this? It doesn't matter what they're thinking. It obviously matters what your clients, potential clients, are thinking and how they're going to react to the messages you're putting out. But I completely agree in what you're saying is fear is what holds, I'd say, 80% in true 80-20 fashion is what's holding them back.
Yeah. And I mean, coming back to Facebook, a lot of our clients are saying, most of our potential clients perhaps are on LinkedIn or on Google, but there's some interesting stats out there about Facebook. I read the other day there's 2 billion users worldwide, and it's the biggest social media network at the moment. I think Instagram is second to them now at the moment, or whatever.
And Facebook owns Instagram, so
yeah, actually, yeah.
You combine them, and they've almost got enough people to. Well, they have got enough people to fill their own planet if they wanted, and they've got the money to do it as well. It's crazy.
Awesome.
So sorry, Drew, go on.
Oh yeah, I was gonna just follow on from what you said, Terry. Again, a lot of our clients are reluctant to use Facebook like that. I mean, you're the expert, but we've been promoting Facebook and talking about how good it is for years, and you get a lot of resistance from clients because it's not seen as, or they don't see it as a traditional B2B platform, business to business platform. So, I mean, what's your view on it? Can it work if you work with business owners? Can it work with B2B businesses?
How's it working for you guys at the moment?
Well, yeah, I mean, it works.
Is it working well?
I want you to convince the listeners.
Yes,
because I mean, you've worked on far more campaigns than.
It's working for me. Well, I'm B2B. You're B2B. Companies like Adespresso, I don't know if you've heard of them. They're all over Facebook. Again, they're B2B. It's your ideal customers, which are the directors of a business. They have a Facebook account, and Facebook is not this magic pill that you can swallow and suddenly they're going to be on your landing page and fill it out just because you put one advert up there with no thought or anything like that. Facebook can work for businesses, but it's a lot more difficult than people think. People tend to get disheartened with Facebook because I think I read somewhere sort of 60% of active pages have dabbled in advertising and only sort of 30% carried on advertising. And you can, no, it was less than that, 10% carried on advertising. And you can bet all your money it's because they didn't know what they was doing. They put an advert up there, they didn't have any targeting or any thought behind it, and it failed. And then that's it. Facebook doesn't work for B2B. And that is absolutely incorrect, especially when you can target things like job titles. You can actively type in, I just want to target directors of companies. You can then set interests, as we were talking earlier, recruitment interests, life coaching interests, how to grow your recruitment agency interests, and combine that with the job title targeting. You are targeting your ideal customers.
Yeah, and just to add to that, for those that don't know, and I was kind of sort of stating the obvious here, Connor. And is it always pay per click?
No, you can do pay per lead. You can enter sort of how much you want to pay per lead, and then Facebook will get it as close to that as possible. And if you get no leads, there'll be a small cost, but it's nowhere near as much as if you was just going all out there. They're less effective, but you can pay per lead. Yes. Okay,
and just for those that don't know, Chris, sorry. Actually, for those that don't know, could you just explain what you mean by pay per click and pay per lead?
Well, pay per click is when you put a Facebook advert up there. It obviously will have an image and a headline and some ad copy if you're putting it in the main newsfeed. And when someone clicks on that, you pay for that click. And the way it works itself out is if you put in £10 budget per day, and then however many clicks you get for that day, it will spend the full £10, and then how many clicks, it will divide it by that, and it will give you your cost per click for that day. And it's the same with your cost per leads. You will put in, you want to spend £20 on a lead, and people will go through your landing page, and then through clever Facebook workings with pixels, they'll be able to efficiently spend the £20 that you're happy to spend and serve it to people who are highly likely to convert into a lead. if that makes sense. I don't know.
Yeah,
it does.
You specify who you want to see the ad, and you can specify how much you want to spend, or I'd much rather call it how much you want to invest in each lead. And if you use the numbers that you've just said there, and let's double that number and say it's, I don't know, pay per click, and you have a budget of £20 per day, and it may well be that you get, I don't know, I'm doing off the top of my head, 4 leads. So your investment per lead then is £5 per lead.
Exactly. That's exactly how they work it out.
Excellent.
Awesome.
And which business owner wouldn't pay for £5 per lead if a typical business owner then looks at the lifetime value of a client? So you make an investment of £5, but that client then spends with you £10,000. Well, I guess most people would make that investment day after day after day, as many people do using Facebook advertising, because it is so effective, isn't it?
Exactly, and Facebook is most effective when you've got an effective back end to keep that customer in place and to keep them spending money.
Awesome.
Good point.
So, I mean, kind of like hearing you talking about it now, it sounds really simple, but I mean, you said earlier that almost like, would you say 90% of people that run advertising campaigns on Facebook end up stopping because they're getting it wrong. So, in your experience, what are some of the biggest mistakes people make when they start a Facebook advertising campaign?
There's plenty to choose from. One of them would be trying to sell to a cold audience off the back. That's never going to work. People forget that people go on Facebook for leisure time. They don't go on there because they're looking to buy. The people on Facebook are not ready to buy if they've never seen your business before. They're not going to invest $1,000 into your product or whatever it may be. They're not going to do that. The second thing is loose targeting when you're trying to get people to buy straight away. There's a couple of times where loose targeting can be effective when you're trying to build custom audiences, which is something we'll touch upon later. Another mistake is not split testing. People just whack it up there. They'll take a selfie. Actually, I'll be lucky if I see people take a selfie. They'll take a picture of some. In fact, they'll be lucky if they take a picture. They'll go onto stock images and they'll get the most generic, boring image you've ever seen. They'll then have the headline, £1,000 for my widget, and the copy will be, my widget does this, that, and the other. And that's not going to happen. Facebook's very similar to direct response marketing. It needs to be benefit driven, not feature driven. It needs to be personable. They need to feel like that product is for them. And it's very difficult to have an effective Facebook campaign to a cold audience.
Yeah. So if you can't sell in the ad, what should they be doing when they place the ad?
Make an offer. It's something that I know you do. It's something that I do. I offer 8 ways to improve your Facebook ads as a lead hook, and they'll get that, and they'll get their 8 email sequence. They'll hopefully implement the tips that I give them, and they'll see an increase in performance for their Facebook ads. You need to be offering something for free. Alternatively, you can run articles, and you run a cost per click campaign to that to drive as much traffic to that as possible, and you'll have the headliners very polarizing. So if you are a swimming coach and you're looking for people who can't swim, you would put in literally, if you can't, 10 quick easy ways to learn how to swim, and you'll have it on a landing page rather than an email sequence because it's a lot less friction. You know yourself from running campaigns. Not everybody that clicks onto your landing page is going to put in all their details. Yeah. And then you can then retarget that audience of everybody who has read that article, and you can do that by saying only target people who have been on my article page for more than 30 seconds. You can then retarget them with a free offering, and sometimes that drastically decreases cost per lead as well.
So again, there's a few things you spoke about there that I want to dig deeper into. Like, talk to us about retargeting, because again, I'm familiar with it. It works really well for us, but I know there's going to be people who listen to this who literally have no idea what you're talking about when you say retargeting. So yeah, tell us like, imagine we're sort of a complete novices here. Tell us what retargeting is.
Okay, so retargeting is where you serve adverts to someone who has already engaged with you in one way or another, whether that's visiting a landing page, liking a picture, reading a blog, anything along them lines.
Yeah.
And how you do it on Facebook, there's something called a Facebook pixel, which is a piece of code that you are given when you create your Facebook advertising account. You can then go into the back end of your website, for example, you plug in that piece of code, and then Facebook will track everybody who visits that website. It will then, in the background, accumulate all of them people, and you can, as I said earlier, you can build a custom audience, and then this is where this comes in. So a custom audience, you would build it, and you would put the rule in there, build the custom audience from people who have visited my website, and they can do this using the pixel, because the pixel stores itself in the cache or the cookies or something like that.
Yeah.
And then you are able to retarget them with an offer, with a lead magnet or something along them lines very easily. And if you are not doing that, you are leaving money on the table.
Awesome. So every one of us should be doing retargeting of some kind.
There is no reason not to. It's one of the simplest ways to run a Facebook advertising campaign. If your website or whatever you have up there is getting a decent amount of organic traffic, and your sign up rates are low or whatever that you're offering, an easy way to do that is just by putting the pixel into the back end of your website. It sounds difficult. It's not. It's literally, you click copy to clipboard, you go into the back end, you put it in the footer of the coding of your website, you then go into Facebook and you click build custom audience using this pixel, visiting this web page. It's dead simple. And full retargeting, you don't even need strong ad copy. You don't need to be a great copywriter. You don't need to be fantastic at writing headlines. You can Facebook does it for you if you're not confident. When you put that in and it's to that website, say, or a landing page, and that landing page has a clear headline on it and a clear copy and a clear photo on it, Facebook will actually pull that data through, and it will build the ad for you.
Excellent.
Awesome.
Excellent.
So there is no excuse not to be doing that. What is it? It's the 13th point of engagement is where most sales are made or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yeah, I've read something similar. I'm not sure the exact number, but yeah, it's not the first time, put it that way.
Yes, it's 12 or 13. I think John mentioned it once.
Mm. So
Awesome.
here's the thing that our clients do, just like get your I suppose you get you to explain it in very simple terms, but people aren't doing this, is where they've got the email addresses of potential clients and they're loading that up to Facebook to display ads to them. Can you just talk through how that works and why everybody should be doing that? Is the first question, Connor. And the second question on that is, if you then get explained to us what's meant by a lookalike audience and how that works.
So you can upload your client list and you can quite easily serve them ads. It matches the email addresses that you upload to their Facebook profile, and that's a very easy way of targeting them. I'm sure you boys are doing that already, aren't you?
Yeah.
So that's again very simple. It's a very good way to sort of maximize the lifetime value of that business that you are working with. It's a very strong way because you've got that lead. It's a strong lead. You know it's a director. You've worked with them before, and now you're serving them ads on Facebook. It's a really good way to build relationships as well, because if they're seeing you every day, they're thinking about you every day. It is fantastic. And then when you upload these customer lists to Facebook, you have the option to create a lookalike audience. And now this is something that's very controversial with sort of the advertising standards. It's teetering on a line of where it's almost an invasion of privacy on Facebook's behalf, because they are so powerful. I cannot put into words. When you upload this list, again, it will match the emails to the Facebook accounts. It will then look into every, so say it matches one person, it will match more than that, but it will take that one person and it will look at all of their interests, and then it will match the next person. It will look at all of their interests, and then it will look at every person they've matched. It will look at all of their interests, and it will look for similarities. Because as you know, similarities aren't always the clearest things to identify. It can be silly things like they all like the same sort of music, or they all like the same brand of tea.
Yeah.
Or humans are weird. So it will match all of that weird stuff together. It will then look into their search history and what they've been searching for on the internet whilst they've had Facebook open, and it will match that. And then what it will do, it will build an avatar almost for you. You can't see this. This is all done in the background. And then Facebook will then run this avatar through their database. And anybody who matches that avatar in their database, you can then serve adverts to. And they are your ideal clients. They are the exact avatar and the exact fit of the sort of person you want coming into your business.
Wow.
You're listening to the Renegade Recruiter Unleashed podcast. For show notes, additional resources, and podcast updates, head over to www.therenegaderecruiter.com.
That is awesome. So, very crudely then, if your target audience was, let's say, a sales director, for the sake of this conversation, you would load the email addresses of other sales directors that you've got at the moment into Facebook, and then Facebook would do the search, and they would identify other sales directors with a similar background and display the ad to them at the same time. So it would be displaying an ad to people that you, as the business owner, you don't even know yet, but you're now getting in front of those decision makers. Have I got that about right, Chris? Connor, sorry.
Chris. Yes, you do. It's, I'd say, one of the biggest problems most business owners face. Well, not biggest, but something they want to do is attract their ideal avatar to their business. Would you say that's correct?
Yeah.
And I'd also say it's quite a difficult thing that a lot of business owners find to do. So this actively will create you an audience that you can market to of your ideal people you want to work with. It's crazy. And another thing you can do with that, you can then segment them into how closely they match that avatar.
Yeah.
So, well, say it's found 500,000 people who match that avatar. You can then Facebook then targets it into the top 1%, the top 2%, all the way to 10%. You can then run campaigns to the top 1%, which is something I always recommend doing first, and then slowly making your way down. But when you market to the top 1%, the costs are so cheap and the quality of lead is so good. It's almost unbelievable that these quality of clients are actually signing up to whatever lead magnet you're offering and are then engaging and consuming everything. And they're the ones that are signing up to do business with you. And as you go further down, 10%, it's more expensive. However, they're still good leads. They're still good people to be targeting. They're still people you're going to work with. They're not quite as good as the top 1%. However, they're still going to spend their money.
Yeah.
Yeah. And all this, Connor, is what we call direct response marketing. So it's nothing about building brand. This is all about getting the lead in. So you can measure the response you're getting to everything you're doing. Is that correct, Connor?
Yes, it's part of the reason I enjoy Facebook so much, is they give you a nice, clear breakdown of KPIs. I hate the word, but it's what they are. And you can look exactly who's interacting with your ads, and then you can break that down, and you can make your advert even more directed towards the people that are already interacting with your ads, therefore lowering the cost. And a common mistake that people make, which I didn't mention earlier, is they don't make their Facebook ads direct response style.
Yeah.
Just because Facebook is a new shiny toy, just because Facebook is sort of young and hip, doesn't mean you shouldn't be implementing good old-fashioned direct response marketing principles.
Awesome.
Absolutely. Brilliant.
So, Connor, one thing that
Stop fighting over me, boys. Come on.
Yeah, you love it. Like one thing you talked about there is branding, and again, we were speaking off air about people running ads to get Facebook likes, and sort of me and Terry saying, "Oh, we hate it when our clients do that. You should never do that." And you were sort of explaining there's one time where you should. Again, can you first explain why you shouldn't usually run campaigns to get likes, and why, and then talk about the one time where it's okay to do it?
Okay. You should never run a campaign solely for the reason of gaining likes on a post or gaining likes to your Facebook page. I'm sure you explain this to many of your clients, that your Facebook likes aren't going to pay your bills.
Yeah.
It's complete vanity. I spoke to someone on a Facebook advertising forum group. I was trying to give them a bit of help, and they had the cheek to ask for help, and I gave them a few tips, and they went, well, you're wrong because I got 200,000 likes on that. I was like, well, how much money did you make? He went, none, but I got 200,000 likes. I was like, how much did you spend? He was like, well, £400. I was like, are you fucking stupid?
Oh, yes, the answer to that question.
Yeah. Doesn't that piss you off, though, when people ask me advice, you give it to them and they say, well, no, that won't work.
Yes. Goodbye is the only response. Don't entertain them. But it's a common. It's Facebook are quite guilty of pushing people down this path. They started offering a free £15 to boost a post. You should never boost a post in the aim of gaining likes. They're just it's a measure of vanity. It's likers aren't buyers, sort of 8 out of 10 times. But there is, as I said, there is one time where you should or can, and it's acceptable to, run a like campaign. And that's when you're running it alongside a conversion campaign where you're attempting to get leads. And what you do is you obviously set your Facebook campaign up with the with conversions as the target. But you then also run a campaign next to it where you are generating likes to that campaign. However, there is a difference in the targeting. Your targeting is very strong, and say it's using a lookalike audience, and you are targeting the high wealth countries in that conversion campaign because you want people from England, United States, Wales, Ireland, New Zealand, Australia, places where there's money. But in the like campaign, what you do is you target and it sounds bad, but you target the piss poor countries, and you target the interests of the similar interests. It's a little bit more loose, but you target the similar sort of interests. So you're still serving to people in India, for example.
So it's the same ad, so that they're getting the same ad.
They're getting the same ad. It's a different target. It's a different outcome.
Okay, yeah.
Because Facebook is very good at targeting. When you aim for conversions, Facebook will show your adverts to people who are highly likely to convert. When you do a like campaign, Facebook will show it to people who are highly likely to like the post. Two very different things, as I said. Likers are not buyers, and Facebook are very good at that. However, what this like campaign does, it provides social proof, and you pay almost 5p a like. And as I said, likes mean nothing. However, 5p a like is cheap. And if you say, I've seen it where I've done this, got 100 likes, p a like, and I did a test, the like campaign next to the conversion campaign, and the one with the 100 likes, it increased my click-through rates by 200%. It lowered my cost per click by around roughly 50%, and it lowered my cost per acquisition by roughly, again, around 50%. I think it was more 40%. So I was interested. I was like, I wonder how this campaign would have worked if I didn't run it alongside a like campaign. And that's obviously where I got my figures of 300% better click-through rate, 50% lower cost per click, and the 50% lower cost per acquisition. Because social proof is a big thing on Facebook. People, as I said, are on Facebook for leisure. So if they're seeing something that other people are liking and other people are engaging in, they think, oh, I want a bit of that. What's this about? And they're more likely to stop and look at your advert and therefore engage and then convert.
Brilliant.
Excellent,
Awesome.
excellent.
Genius.
So we talked about, Connor, you haven't touched on, that we're going to, it's just about the impact of mobile devices and Facebook. Could you tell us a bit about that and the benefit what that means to business owners listening to this?
Mobile is absolutely destroying desktop adverts, absolutely decimating them. It's crazy. 80% of adverts now, if you're running a campaign where you're showing it to both people on mobile and desktop, it will gets shown to more people on mobile purely because there is more people on mobile. And the ones it gets shown to on mobile, you get the lower cost per acquisition, the lower cost per click. It's just cheaper to advertise on mobile, partly because it's isolated. When you're on desktop, you know, you can click to another tab quite easily. You can look to the right and there's another advert. You can look to the left and there's your friends list or whatever. But on mobile, it's isolated. It's all you can see. And as I was saying, mobile just destroys desktop at the moment in terms of cost, in terms of actual conversion rates. And more people are on mobile now. Most people don't really use their desktop for leisure anymore. As soon as anyone's on a lunch break, for example, they're not sat there on their desktop. They're sat there eating their sandwich, looking at their phone.
Yeah.
And it's a big impact because Facebook are now harming adverts and campaigns where the landing page isn't optimized for mobile. So if your landing pages aren't optimized for mobile and they don't have a quick loading speed on mobile, Facebook will hold your campaign back and you will get worse results than if your landing page was actually quick, because Facebook run a test in the background when you upload. Yeah, when you put in your URL that you want to send people to, Facebook, when you submit it, like for approval, your advert for approval, Facebook will run a test on the speed of that landing page and if it's mobile optimized. And if it's really quick and it's mobile optimized, great, there's no restrictions on who they're going to show that advert to. But if it's slow and it's not optimized for mobile, that they will hold it back. They'll show it to less people and it will cost far, far more money to get the leads.
Brilliant.
Wow.
Awesome.
This is fantastic.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Kind of, again, just quickly, I mean, you mentioned earlier on in the call that you give away sort of 8 things you can do to improve your Facebook campaigns. Where can we go to find that? Because, again, I want to read that myself.
Do you want the long one or the short one?
Just the short one, your website.
ConnorBenham.com.
So just Connor.
Can you spell it, please, Connor?
ConnorBenham.com.
That's M for mother, yeah?
Yes, M for mother.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can go there and get 8 ways to improve your Facebook campaign. Also, get on Connor's list where he'll be talking more about Facebook and some of the things you can do to improve your results, or even if you're just getting started, what you need to do to get started as well. But I highly recommend you do that. And yeah, if you can, if it's available, use Connor to run your campaigns for you, because he's just getting some amazing results for people that we work with and that we know as well. Connor,
thank you, Drew.
No problem. Connor, I wanted to ask you again. We were speaking off air about like some of the breakthroughs that some of the changes that Facebook are making with I guess the way you can generate leads, and you were saying that you think it's going to almost be competition to email marketing in the future. Can you tell us about that a bit more?
Yes, of course. So Facebook introduced a new way you can advertise. If you've dabbled in Facebook advertising, you'll understand. If you haven't, there's several different ways you can show your advert. You can show it in a carousel form where you can show like 6 different pictures. You can have one picture, you can have a video, you can have a lead form. But Facebook introduced a messenger option. So when people click on your ad, they get sent whatever it is to the Facebook Messenger. So when they click it, bang, straight to the Facebook Messenger. And because of this development, it's allowed third parties to develop some really powerful and really interesting and new software that's only going to get stronger. And there's always been the next new email marketing. Email marketing is always going to be here to stay. However, because Facebook is so big, I can't see they're going to allow this to die just because of how effective it is. And if they get all their big spenders on it, then they're going to make a lot of money, because it does get you cheap leads. And what it is it's chat, Facebook Messenger chat software. And the reason I believe it can be the new email marketing is because you can send people messages on Facebook daily in a very similar way you do in your business with email marketing. And there is no restrictions to this at the moment. And the way you can do it is for example, I'm using ManyChat, which is a great piece of software. They've got a free lower level. I'd recommend everybody goes, has a look, give it a try. They've got fantastic tutorials to get it set up. It's really a no-brainer to go and do this. So you'd set up your Facebook campaign. You would then create the landing page in ManyChat. And it's so your copy on the Facebook has to be very clear what it is you're offering. It can't be sort of vague. It has to be very clear. So when people click through that, they get put on this landing page, and it's just a button saying, do you want this sent to your messenger? And there's no friction there because they don't have to put in all their details. So the conversion rates are much higher. So they click OK, and ding, it's dropped into their Facebook Messenger. And you think, well, I could just do this through Facebook. But this is where I was saying it's the new email. It could be the new email marketing, or at least rival it. It's because using this software, you can then message them daily, which is something you can't do in Facebook at the moment. Awesome. And you can also create automated replies. So you can say to them the next day after they've consumed your lead magnet, say you're running a lead magnet campaign to get the conversion, to get their email address, it's going to perform better anyway because they don't actually have to type it. They just click OK and you've got it, which is great. It's frictionless. It's fantastic. So it goes ding, here's your free lead magnet. So for me, here's your 8 ways to improve your Facebook ads. Click here and you can read them all. Say if I was going to do it in that way. Then the next day, I could send them a message, automated, of course. Did you read the tips I sent you the other day? Obviously, it'd be a lot prettier than that.
Yeah.
And then 2 boxes below would be yes or no. And they can just click yes, and then it will pre-populate that for them, and they'll send the words yes. And then I can do like if rules. So if they say yes, I can send them this response. So that response would be, fantastic. Can you please rate this out of 10? Rate the tips out of 10. So again, it will give the options 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They'll click on it. If they rate high, I can get ManyChat to segment the people who reviewed it high and reviewed it low. So then I've got, it's almost they're qualifying themselves on how much of a quality lead they are, because my tips are great. So if they're rating them 1, piss off, you're a loser, you're a liar. Yeah. And then, so once they've done that, if they've rated high and they thought the tips are great, I'll go, great, thank you for that. Have you started implementing them yet? And if they go yes, again, automated response. If they go no, I can then say, if you're having any troubles, feel free to book a call with me here and I'll help you through it. And then, so they'll go, fantastic, this guy's talking to me, which I'm not, it's a robot, but they'll click on that and they'll feel like they know me because we've had a conversation. And as we were saying earlier, the psychology of it is people, they like to click buttons in messages and they don't like to leave things unfinished. And if they actually ignore that, they feel like they're ignoring a person, so they're less likely to do that. People don't want to make other people feel bad. People naturally want to be liked, and people believe that a way of being liked is being kind to people. So they're going to respond to my messages, even if they're automated or not.
Awesome.
So then they'll get on the call with me, and I'm on the call with the client. And your cost per lead for that, to get to that stage, might be about a little bit higher. However, I've seen some people, they've been getting leads for in my industry, Facebook, getting leads for 60p.
Wow.
Awesome.
And then getting it to that stage of getting on a call with them, £4. I would pay £4 to get on a call with a qualified customer any day.
Yeah. Which business would make that?
Yeah, I was going to say,
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
And they get on the call and they're like your best mate. They feel like they know you because you've had a brief conversation on Facebook. And it's a sales funnel within Facebook. And as I was saying earlier, sort of it could rival email marketing. The reason for this is because the Facebook messages in this sort of style, they get 80% open rates. And I know open rates and click-through rates, they are also measures of vanity. However, it's common sense that the more people that read your messages, the more sales you're going to get, especially if they've gone through the qualification that you've already done through your Facebook ads through the targeting. So if you're getting 80% open rates from really highly qualified leads, and you're getting, 50% click-through rates on any, web pages you send them, and web pages you send them, any more sort of free magnets you send them to consume to sort of get them deeper into your world of doing things, you can then retarget them with offers, as we was talking about the retargeting earlier. So it's a real interesting and cheap way. And you don't have to, as someone asked me the other day, do you have to pay to send out the broadcasts every day to your to your new Facebook list. And no, you don't. You pay your monthly fee for ManyChat, but if someone thought it'd be like Facebook advertising where you have to pay per message, but it's not like that at all. Once you've got them, you've got them. You can extract their data on the higher paid contracts, and then they're yours. Cheap leads.
Awesome. It's brilliant. Again, something that
cheap
every
quality leads, I want to say as well.
It's, the quality's there. I guess, like, again, Connor, I mean, well, anyone listening to this, you need to reach out to Connor while you still can. Go to connorbenham.com. That's CONNORBENHAM. Get his free tips, and you can see firsthand how he markets on Facebook, and also get some tips as well. And again, I said earlier, but you want to be reaching out to him to run your campaigns, because he is the guy that's going to get you the results that you want. He's going to be running our campaigns going forward as well. So, seen any of our campaigns, that'll be Connor behind them as well. So again, make sure you head over to connorbenham.com. That's connorbenham.com. Connor, just before we run up to the interview, again, I do want to get you back on to talk more in detail about different areas that you touched on today, and also, again, we'll speak off air, but I'm interested in getting you to speak at some of our events as well. But one question I want to ask you, sort of outside of Facebook, is what's the best sort of piece of advice you've been given, the best piece of entrepreneurial advice you've been given that sort of made a big impact on you?
Two things. If you don't try it, you'll never know if it works. If you don't try it, you're always going to be a failure.
Yeah.
There's no shame in trying and failing, but there's shame in never trying. That was a big thing for me, especially at the young age of 16 when I was introduced to that. It was a real eye opener for me, and it's simple. However, I think a lot of people ignore that sort of mantra. They ignore that. And they think it's fine to live in sort of their cocoon, but no, there's shame in not trying. There's no shame in trying.
Yeah, awesome. And second thing,
and the second was be relentless.
Awesome.
Similar time to the first thing, like don't be afraid, but don't be afraid to follow up. As we were saying earlier, sort of 12, 13 points of contact before you make a sale. Before I was told that, I would have been sort of doing what 99% of the business world and unsuccessful businesses do. Hey, do you mind if I do a little bit of business for you, please? And then never ever follow up.
Brilliant.
And I think that's something you two are keen on as well, being relentless.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, awesome. Wise words for a young man. Excellent, Connor. Absolutely brilliant. Really,
thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Clearly, you get your intelligence from your mother, because it's.
Yes. Get it from the old dear.
No, honestly, Connor, that was absolutely brilliant. Yeah, anybody listening to this, any social media marketing people, and you want to clean up on Facebook, but before you say but my market is different, that's bollocks, by the way. It's not. Facebook works. More of your potential clients are on Facebook than any other social media platform, including LinkedIn, by the way. Reach out to Connor. I'll repeat that address again: connorbenham.com.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's something that every business owner listening to this needs to go and do immediately. Again, we will be going there as well, and we will be using Connor going forward with our ads, and we strongly recommend you to do so. He's one of the only people that I speak to who, when I speak to him about Facebook, I think he actually knows more than me. I mean, usually you meet people who claim they're an expert in any particular area of marketing, and it's not that they're not experts, but they just say stuff that I personally already know, which is nothing wrong with that, because I know a lot. But Connor, he talks and you're like, I didn't know that. Wow, he's the real deal. So yeah, make sure you head over to connorbenham.com, get his free tips, and stay tuned to what he has to say.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Drew. Really appreciate that. It's funny you should mention sort of, talking to other sort of people that talk about Facebook. It's part of the reason it's taken me so long to come out. Is because there is so many absolute drongos who chat shit, claim they're a social media expert, and quite frankly they're not, as you said.
Yeah.
you talk to people who claim they're good at social media, and you know as much as them, if not more yourself.
Yeah. And do you know what? To be fair, it's not even that they're not good. Like I wouldn't ever go as far as saying that. So don't get me wrong, some of them aren't good, but
Yes.
I wouldn't even go as far as saying that. It's just that when I speak to you, I'm like, you're a level above. Which is why I'll strongly sort of urge anybody listening to this who wants to get profitable leads from Facebook is to go to, as I said, ConnorBenham.com, reach out to him as soon as you can, because I highly recommend it.
Yeah, I would endorse that again. Talking to marketeers every day of the week, but this guy knows his stuff. Talk to this man.
You two are making me blush.
Get out of it. No,
I'm red as a beetroot.
Yeah. Listen, but I've got to jump off now, Connor. But I've really enjoyed that, and I want to speak to you again, and to Chris as well. So I'm going to reach out to you. But I just want to thank you again, Connor. That was absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much indeed.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for having me.
Not at all.
Sorry, I enjoyed it.
So listen, thank you very much. And Drew, again, goes back to saying thank you as well for your input. Again, this is Terry Edwards, Renegade Recruiter. Until next time, take care, take action, and be relentless.